Alright, we are here with Roxanne again. But instead of doing the weird treasure thing, I'm playing a more normal version, which is mainly just playing Roxanne repeatedly, assuming it dies, and not being too upset if it doesn't die. So I give it haste with basically everything in the game, save like I had Arlencourt in here for a second, another Planeswalker did, but basically every card that gives this haste is in here. I crafted Bard class. I have never actually played with this card ever. But if I plan on repeatedly casting this, it could be useful. It obviously discounts legendary spells that are not just your commanders, and that's pretty neat, right? It can be quite useful on the other end. You can kind of look at it as an explosive vegetation. It's basically all it really is, except it like cuts the mana cost into two halves, so you can spend it later. But you have to invest 4 mana to basically get a discount of 2, which is kind of like explosive vegetation, except it's only for legendaries. However, those 2 extra mana things could let you cast 2 spells in the same turn, like Minsk and Boo for 3 mana, and then this for 3 mana on the same turn, or something like that, instead of just discounting the first spell. So, I don't know. It seems like it works. So yeah, just giving this haste to generate a bunch of meteorites, so when it attacks, it kind of comes with 4 damage instead of 2, which can clear the way of more attacks. However, you might not be upset just letting it die in combat, sending 2 damage face or whatever, because it generates 2 meteors, and then it can come back the next turn. Guaranteed, assuming you don't lose your meteorites. So, I could put Tooth and Nail in here. Could also put Craterhoof, but I don't know if I want to. I don't have a ton of middle ground creatures, kind of, to make Craterhoof crazy. And I don't have an awesome Tooth and Nail. It doesn't feel like I do, at least. But obviously, if I ran Tooth and Nail, I'd probably run Craterhoof. I don't know. I'm just not running those two. I want to be more in on Roxanne. Up the Beanstalk, usually not a big fan of this, but if your commander is 5 and up, then seems pretty reasonable. If your commander is 5 and up and you expect to cast it, a multitude of times, seems pretty reasonable, right? Because as it stands, I mean, look at my deck, right? It doesn't. Up the Beanstalk has like what? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 cards in my deck that Up the Beanstalk draws off of. Like, kind of not good. So I think people overvalue it quite significantly, or their deck is like crazy heavy in the mana cost and they're just all in, which, I mean, you're gonna lose to a lot of things doing that, but some people just like to do that. There are 2 creatures that give this haste. There's 2 creatures. There's Bloodlust Inciter, and there's another one. I guess it doesn't matter. I don't have to find the second one, but there's 2 of this card. On 1 mana. I don't necessarily feel like that's worth it. These are kind of vulnerable, and I don't know, like, you can't play them the same turn as Roxanne, like you could like a spell that gives haste for 1 mana. They just won't work. Obviously, this cost 1 mana up front, so it's a bit better than later. Like, Fervent Strike is haste later on like 6 mana, because then, it doesn't really do anything. So you could say that I want these instead. I guess we could do 1 and 1. I mean, there's plenty of this effect, and I don't really have many of these. Barbarian class is probably the jankiest of them all, because it's 6 mana in total to give everything haste. Yeah, alright, I've convinced myself. Let's try, like, 1 of these. I mean, I could try both. I don't know. I'm just trying 1. I don't think the other class enchantment saga thing is really useful. It's just a lot of mana. If it costs more than, like, 5, it's just curving out on that alone is kind of janky. And that's really about it. Yeah, we just sort of try to give Roxanne haste repeatedly, which, again, I didn't really try to do last time. I tried to, like, treasure storm nonsense, and it didn't feel too efficient. But yeah, let's see a more normal list here. Also, I intended to make this video yesterday, but I actually fell asleep. I fell asleep in the middle of making my deck, and I woke up and like, well, I guess I'm just going to bed now. The first Sliver. Alright, well, ordinarily not a Sliver deck. Oh man, I'm loving these additional fetch lands here. I probably wouldn't like them if they were like mythic rares, but they're not, so they're like obtainable for mortals. I don't have super awesome things to do for a while, which playing the first 5 mana back and forth with a... Alright, that's pretty good. I think I'm going to spend... I'm not going to dash it. I'm going to do this. I'm just going to do this here. I don't want to have to keep spending 2 mana on this. Okay. So I can play Roxanne pre-combat. There's not much of an incentive, though. Swing first. I could hit, like, something that blows this up. I did not. I think it makes sense to just cast my commander. Because, you know, kind of cast itself later. I could have abraded the relic, honestly. Maybe there was logic in that. Just blowing this up might have made a lot of sense. I am taking a risk that for the 20 bajillionth time, the first Sliver doesn't just hit Supreme Verdict like it just always does against me for some weird reason. Alright, Uro is beatable. They probably just block my commander. They could also just block Ragavan, which kind of makes sense as well. Can I cast Ulamog? This taps for 2, this taps for 1, because it's not... So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No. I do not. Okay, well, I guess we see what they do when I go to swing. They could just block Ragavan. Yeah, they don't even think about it. Probably would too. It's probably worth pushing the damage. I'm going to... I guess... kill both their things? Nah, that feels ugly. Maybe I just let them have... Like, why do I care about the first Sliver existing? I could just not care about that, right? Does that make sense? I think it does. And... I don't want to... See, I have to sacrifice an artifact to do this, but... Fine. I'll get rid of the goose food token. I can just make another one. I don't know. What happened? Did our opponent give up? Oh, no, they're back. Alright. Don't know what happened there. So, I don't think they run Farewell. At least I'm not super familiar with them running Farewell. But I don't see it as being an unreasonable thing to do. That's probably Doomscar. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I can cast Ulamog and probably just win here. I don't know if it matters what lands I hit. Probably doesn't matter at all. They probably just concede immediately. This is any color. Okay, so that and the garden. I want to remove white. I could completely remove black. Let's do that. Let's just remove black. Well, the first game we played against one of the stronger commanders, and our opponent threw a temper tantrum because they didn't win. Funny. Look at that. They figured it out. Alright. Opponent figured out how to concede, I guess. Cool. But yeah, they probably can't beat this. What was it? It was not Doomscar, actually. Look at that. It was... We have yet to find any... I don't think Roxanne has had haste yet. It's been 30 minutes. Okay, my opponent has Mox Amber. Let's put this on red. Man, it's like the green is the strongest of your 4-color deck. Wow. So I can eat a fetch land and cast Roxanne and then get stonewalled by Atraxa's presence. Could kill it with Chandra, but I'm playing Roxanne first, the other way. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'll need to eat the fetch land. I could play Chandra. This kind of dies to Atraxa, though, and it doesn't feel good. But it does kind of like line up with a crazy Ulamog way later. I would like to blow that up if I had the opportunity. Currently do not. I could play Domri Rad instead now. Maybe that's better. I think I'm going to do that. They could have a counterspell at this point, but that's probably just fine. Let's go get... I could just get a basic, but it's probably safe to just... Oh wait, do I have 2 basics? I do, right? So this just is untapped. Look at that. Stomping Ground without the tax. I probably want to minus this, because it's not useful to plus it a bunch. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. Top 4 is not super likely, in my opinion, to hit a creature. I don't have a lot in my deck. So I'm just going to plus it. Is this the degenerate 6-mana Planeswalker part, where Atraxa didn't do anything? Opponent keeps looking at their own lands for some reason. Okay, that's weird. Alright, good sign. They're killing Atraxa just to put a counter on this. Probably makes sense. Could name Eldrazi. Nah, let's just name the right thing here. So we gotta give it haste. Oh yeah! Look at that. I actually have devotion. Nice. Alright, we did the thing. We did the thing. We gave it haste, and it actually mattered in a very significant way. My opponent's effectively at 2? No, this can't go face. Never mind, this can't go face. Oath of Kaya, sure. I could just let this happen because it doesn't save them. I think I let this happen because it does not save my opponent. They're still dead to me turning this back on and doing all the other stuff. Yep, that actually worked out really nice. Because they committed to this, and this can't do anything. Yeah, real nice. I really like Perforos. It is very dangerous. Very dangerous. Do we have the burn spell? No, we do not. Unfortunate. I stole one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life. That's pretty neat. Opponent is deep cooking. I don't have an answer to that. Yeah, I got nothing. Let's just swing. Alright, opponent just feels miserable playing against Ragavan, beating the crap out of them. I don't blame them. I still, at this point, would have seen what this steals, because it seems like there's a lot of weird stuff going on here, because Perforos likes to put it out of hand or whatever. It would basically be another turn of getting hit. They obviously don't have any sweeper, because they would have kept playing. They didn't give themselves the chance to top deck one, though, and I assume they're running all the red board wipes. They do make sense. Your commander costs 5. I think this game could have kept going here. There's a chance they could just beat Roxanne with haste. There's a real good chance they could really just put something in that completely annihilates me. I don't know what it is in mono red. If it isn't even Infernal Titan, like it is mono red, they don't have the best big stuff. Drakaseth isn't even that crazy, especially when you have to sacrifice the creature. You don't actually get to keep it. And it also has to maybe not die to a Shrapnel Blast. So, yeah, that's just a miserable spot to be in. Oh well. We all draw cards for no reason. Alright. Seen this matchup a lot. Could mulligan mindlessly for an answer. This is one of them. Especially on the play. I guess I'll play Strike It Rich on 1. Don't see why not. I could, yeah, with Strike It Rich on 1, I can Cultivate on 2. And this, it happens before SRAM exists. I just don't want to see Esper Sentinels, really the only annoying card here. Mox Amber? Nope. This costs 1 to equip, right? This doesn't discount equip. Nope. So I can keep the treasure by playing this, but there's a chance it makes sense to just do this anyways. It's kind of the same. It pulls lands out of my deck too, and gives me double red. That is more permanent. So get this land. They're like the same. They're like the same. We're just gonna get rid of the mana rock here and give ourselves more just be more comfortable against certain things by doing it like this. I don't know. Precisely calculated, yeah. I have the Kenris transformation anyways. I don't know. Does this trigger this? Because it... No, it's my aura. Get Schmieded. Alright, so play you, play you, play you. They can still obviously kill me, because SRAM is still obviously extremely dumb. Hornet Queen is extremely good against them, though. It is a stone wall of stone walls. The walliest of stones. But this is, what, 6 damage? This does not have first strike, so this is annoying for them. Oh man, I would have loved Lightning Bolt. I guess Lightning Bolt is still viable. And if they give me the ability, I suppose I will block. Okay. Sure, I guess. Not really what I expected, not gonna lie. Alright, let's Surveil 1. Hornet Queen is a complete stone wall. It can go away. I guess I just don't have Roxanne this game. Or at least at any relevant point in this game. They can give this protection repeatedly, too. Oh, wait, I found a way to kill it. I found a way to kill it. Question is, do I? Probably. Ward what? Ward 1? I think the Meteorite is probably the right thing to get rid of. I could just get rid of the treasure token I just made. It is the only temporary one, and it technically isn't that useful. Yeah, let's just get rid of the temporary one. I don't see why not. I wouldn't do this if I didn't also have Lightning Bolt, but I do, so. They also need to draw a land. I think they missed a land drop. Nettle Cyst. That is a 4/4, sure. Oh, excuse me, it's a 5/5, right. Alright, well, like I said, we have this to make it so it's very difficult to swing at me. Not even sure what the mono-white SRAM deck can do to not die to this. Actually, I have no idea. Dancing Sword. That isn't it. Yeah, there's really nothing unless they have like 5 protection spells to really push through this. They could give it lifelink and first strike. That would do it. They could just give it first strike. Doesn't really need lifelink, and that would also be a problem. I don't know how I don't. I mean, I could draw a mountain. It's like, it's a thing that could happen. Alright. Do we dash Ragavan? I don't want to. Alright, now there's no reason to. What does this do? It blocks Ragavan forever, so I guess I do dash. Alright, DoorDash it is. I think this is fair. This is kind of annoying. This is a weird one. Okay, well, that's the strongest black card in the game. Let's see, land. This. Can play Roxanne. It can kill the 3/2s. My opponent would be wise not to make one, but black players are extremely greedy and just do whatever. Yep, there it is. They just did it. I guess they can sacrifice the token anyways. Oh, okay, never mind. Did they find a 1-mana spell here? Fatal Push, Thoughtseize. It cannot be cut down. And yet again, I don't know why, but we keep drawing the haste way too late. It's really, 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 really annoying. Do we make another 3/2? Or have we learned our lesson? We've learned our lesson. Look at that. They learned their lesson. Okay, so they're just going to immediately bolt into comboing me and I just lose next turn. Great. Elder Gargaroth is not that useful right now. Honestly, nothing I really do is useful, I don't think. I could just run this out. It gives me more, like, surprise damage. Maybe that's useful. Both of these are instants. I guess it's better than doing 1 damage to keep both these up. I don't know. So they have to make me lose life, or they have to gain life, and also have the piece that makes them... Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses life. So now I sacrifice the Iron Crag to do that again. Because they can obviously recast it. I could have done it in combat, so they wouldn't have the ability, but... Guess it was wise to keep up all my mana. I can kill this with Roxanne. And I won't have the mana to... 1, 2, 3... Yeah, I won't have the mana to cast Gargaroth, so... Can still die to a combo. I mean, I'm sure there's, like, more. We did a good job at defending ourselves from the first one. It required 2 spells, but... Okay, do we have the... Okay, they found it. So, what I need it to do... There was absolutely a way to win this, right? Kill this in combat with the Abrade. So it's dead and they can't recast it. They cast it post-combat. And then I have Roxanne on my turn to kill it. And then I would still have the Voltage Surge to kill it again. So I actually missed an opportunity to kill it on the second time with Roxanne, which would have stopped that. Now, they did not have to cast it again next turn. Or, like, post-combat. They didn't actually have to cast it post-combat. And it would have cost 4. And then they also couldn't, on that same turn, cast it twice, because it'd be 4 and 6. So I absolutely could have won this, and chose not to. So that's unfortunate. But at least I saw it. At least I saw it. They had their Hardened Scales in a singleton format, 100 cards. And I tried to blow it up, too. I actually had a way to deal with it. I think it was too late to deal with it at that point anyways. I'm going to give Inti Haste. I don't really know what I'm going to discard, though. I don't have to discard anything. But given the situation, it probably makes sense to discard Ulamog. It probably makes sense and just push damage here. I think there's logic behind that. Rads. Hello. Okay. It's a blue-green deck. Green is obviously the 80 cards, and then maybe like 2 blue cards. I can play this post-combat. I'd get rid of Gargaroth in that way. Maybe Gargaroth is worth keeping, and I don't want to trigger Inti anymore. I mean, I do have a draw for the turn. I don't know what confused them. Okay, this is a pretty easy card to get rid of, I think. So... yeah, we can just drop that. Rhythm of the Wild, that probably is not better than this. I mean, this makes a treasure token. This doesn't actually do anything at all without more cards, so yeah, I think this is the right play. It also gives me just another creature to swing with and stuff. So that's probably fine. I think my opponent had the option to play a land, and that's why it held priority, but they did not, and I don't know why. Like, they cast this and immediately left. Oh, okay, now they're back. Yeah, I don't know what that was about. That's very, very strange. Azusa. Well, you don't want to drain all the lands in your hand and then play Tatyova. That doesn't seem like a good idea. Guess they could wait. They're doing it again. They're, like, holding priority without playing additional lands. Alright, they're doing it this time. Okay. Sure. Gunning for a land? Bard class? No. I think it's too late for Bard class. That is not useful here, but... okay. Get rid of the Grazer. Put a counter here. Okay, that's more useful. I'm surprised they didn't block, because this goes away and it has no targets. Unless I just kill this, so... do I get rid of the land? I don't think so, because it lets me cast this bandit right now without cracking the treasure token, which means I can cast Roxanne. I have more than 2 basics, so we can get the Glade. Alright, well, Inti is just cyberbullying my opponent. Okay, so you play Tatyova. I assume you have a land drop. It's a very good land drop, because of course it is. I can give my commander haste and kill Tatyova, and they cannot recast it and also do anything else, which is quite useful. I'll keep the land for my thing there, so we target this. We commit a crime. Oh wait, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. Our haste giver is not a spell. Never mind, it doesn't matter. And swing. I don't know if it matters to swing with this. It's just probably not right. Well, I think at this point they probably have to block something bigger than just the 1/1 and a 2/2 with their 3/3. So I think this is a safe attack. I can also just put the... yeah, I was about to say, I can just put the Inti counter on the 2/2 and have it be fine there as well. Okay, so I think this is a better version than the treasure spammy storm red-green thing. I think this is probably stronger. I did not get a ton of Roxannes in any single game, and I also didn't give it haste as much as I thought I would. Now, after playing a bunch, I think maybe it would have made sense to play the other Insider on 1. I think there's a 2-mana version of this card too, but I like the 1-mana ones a lot more. They're just way more out of the way when you're trying to like ramp to get to this right. You can't ever play this on turn 5. You must play this earlier than that, so take that for what you will. You must have mana that accelerates this strategy. You cannot simply play land go and then turn 5 have Roxanne. It's not fast enough. Not at all. Not even close. So with that being said, you could play more 4s and 5s maybe that kind of play into the Roxanne thing or something like that. Doing your best to maybe... see, I was trying to ignore just the treasure spammy stuff because I had already done that, but there could be a happy middle ground with spamming treasures. I don't even know if I like the One Ring. I don't really know exactly what we're racing towards in terms of card draw spam. Same with the Palantir. These could be more ramp spells or cheaper, like 3-drop creatures, or more ramps. Yeah, just ramp spells or 3 drops or something like that. Because I don't know what I'm drawing to if I'm already Roxanne spamming. That's really what I want it to do. And yeah, I don't know. It's definitely not the strongest commander, but it is cool to just make a bunch of shocks and meteors and threaten a ton of mana dorks from your opponent. Usually you threaten them by the time it's too late anyways, because, you know, they already did their thing. Inti, I think the last game it was the last game I played. Inti is just a snowball, crazy, insane card that can just run away with any game, kind of solo, borderline, right? Just, oh, let me discard all these things that could matter, but now they don't, because Inti exists, and I could just beat my opponent to death rather quickly. I never felt like Bard class was super useful. I know it's a 4-mana commitment, but I had cast it for 2 mana and then just never found time to like spend 2 mana on it again. It always felt like I had something else to do, like a different ramp spell instead, which kind of comes to the same conclusion, really. But if I cast a different ramp spell, it kind of, you know, widen. I don't put all my eggs in one basket, basically. Which, you know, there's merit in that. There's definitely merit in that. Kogla's weird. I think there were 2 games where it was surprisingly useful. You could play the other Kogla, right? The green one that does things as well instead. You could play both, right? I think that's fine. I just hadn't played this one in quite a while, and I felt like I wanted to try it. I like the uncounterable naturalize. I think that's kind of funny. It's not really that useful, though. Like, you could just play Wilt if that's what you're really looking for, right? It's like, oh, Wilt's useless, just get rid of it, or whatever. But I think the One Ring in Palantir could just be other large, scary things, so more payoff for the meteorites, instead of simply recasting Roxanne repeatedly, which is solid in certain matchups. If you're just draw going with your opponent, Roxanne can obviously just win that, with or without haste. I never got a Minsk and Boo game. I feel like it would make sense as a Gruul control commander where you don't run a whole lot of ramp. Yeah, I guess. But again, we did that with the last one with like the ton of treasures and ton of card draw, and have like a different way to win that wasn't using creatures like Grape Shot and stuff. But I just don't think that that's that useful. Like, it's very difficult to play a green-red quote-unquote control strategy. It's actually very difficult. It's a lot easier to do it in like black-white, which isn't a traditional control kind of. Red-green, it's very difficult. You don't have a lot of reactive things. Like, you have naturalizes, you can shut down artifacts and enchantments. You have burn, but you don't have like a lot of planeswalker answers. And large creatures you don't have a lot of answers to. Your red sweepers don't necessarily blow up everything that you would like to blow up, so it's very hard to do that. But if you were going to go that route, you would keep the One Ring in Palantir, because then card advantage probably matters to you quite a bit. Not just a bunch of meteorites shocking your opponent. But either way, the second time playing this commander, and I still really like it. I still like it. It's kind of, it feels really rough when you lose. You're just like, man, I'm doing this thing, and my opponent doesn't care, and I'm dead. Which is kind of sad, but, I mean, that's probably for a wide range of commanders. You know, oh, my go wide 1-drop deck just got hosed by Doomscar, right? So everything has it, but it does have really rough, feel-bad losses. But, alright. Let me know what you thought about this list. If you have ideas that are not the 2 I made with this, let me know. Just kind of wanted to play a more normal version of it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.